Hello everybody, my name is Darren Brown. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. We're going to be looking at visual development in preschoolers and how you can supercharge your preschoolers' learning and jumpstart their school career, giving them the life they've dreamed of before they even get to school. And we can do it all in 3 easy steps. So this will be good stuff. Hopefully you'll learn something, take it away, and really supercharge your child's learning experience. So my question is, who wants to give their child an unfair advantage when it comes to learning? And you can do it right now, and I can show you how you can actually prep or prepare your child for school. In Australia we have something called prep, which is like a preschool, and it's designed to prepare kids for a life of learning. So this webinar is for you if you're worried about your child's learning at all, especially if you have any learning disabilities in the family, such as dyslexia, other learning disabilities, Aspergers, autistic spectrum disorder, or even ADHD, which is hyperactivity disorder. It's for you if you notice that your child seems disinterested in books or colouring in, or if they find it next to impossible to concentrate on tasks. So it's not enough to make the excuse and say, oh, he's a boy, boys want to play outside. That may be true, but if they're going to learn, they're going to have to do it in a classroom. It's for you if you feel that your child is running behind in their age milestones compared to other kids, or if it's been reported by a teacher or a nurse to you that your child is struggling. It's for you if you have no issue giving your child an unfair advantage and in their learning versus the other kids. So if you want your child to have a better chance of doing well in school, this webinar is for you. If you genuinely want to give your child the very best start in their school and career and help them be successful in their career and their life, becoming all that they can be, then this is definitely for you. So a little bit about me first of all. As I said, my name's Darren Brown, and I'm a behavioural optometrist on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland. I graduated from optometry school in 1984, which is just a few years ago. I was 5 at the time, only kidding. I was a little bit older than that. But I was soon dissatisfied with mainstream practice. I didn't want to sit around giving reading glasses to old men for the rest of my life. I attended a behavioural optometry seminar in 1985, which completely changed my life. And I studied and completed a postgraduate fellowship in the Australian College of Behavioural Optometry in 1989. And since then, I have very successfully designed and run vision therapy programs in my office for children with learning problems. And this was all driven by the fact that in 1994 we discovered that my oldest daughter had a learning disability, which we now believe is Aspergers, but she really struggled through school and we love her so much. She's been a huge success in her life, but we had to work really hard. And I've also discovered that the earlier we start trying to help these kids, the better and quicker we can help them with their learning problems. So is there a scientific basis for vision therapy? Well, there's tons of evidence now supporting the role of vision and visual skills in learning. And there's evidence on how the right type of vision therapy can dramatically improve learning and reading performance. There's also clear evidence that it is more effective, quicker and cheaper the earlier we commence treatment. So there are 2 key questions about vision therapy. First of all, what type of vision therapy works best? And secondly, when should we start? So about starting, it's the age-old question of preventative medicine. You know, all doctors, myself included, will tell you that we live in the age of the quick fix. Medicine, optometry, dentistry, everything else is about treating the problem after you have it. But preventative medicine is always harder to get people to commit to, because the results are less tangible, and one of our biggest motivators, frankly, is pain. So if we're not in pain, we don't deal with it. Getting maintenance on your car is the same thing. A lot of people wait until the car actually breaks down, but maintenance is the smart ploy. So developmental problems are called developmental problems because they can be developed, and a lot of the learning problems that we have are developmental. But the question is, do you want the best for your child? By the time learning problems are diagnosed, you have a huge life-destroying problem that can haunt your child their entire life. So why risk this disaster when you can do something easily and cheaply right now to avoid it? If you truly love your child, and I'm assuming you do because you've tuned into the webinar, and if you truly want the best for them, like me as a parent, you will do anything to help them prosper and live a successful life. So tonight we are looking for parents who want their kids to be super successful in their schooling and their future careers and lives. We're looking for parents who do not want to run the risk that their child has dyslexia or learning problems or developmental issues or anything like that. We're looking for parents who are concerned that their child might be struggling in their learning already. We want parents who don't think, well, boys are just boys, and excuse their child's poor performance away, even at the preschool level. We're also looking for parents who genuinely believe their child is smart and want to prove it. You know, a lot of smart kids have learning problems. It's not about smarts. There are genuine things that we can do to change this. We're looking for parents who want to make learning fun and they want to start right now. We're also looking for parents who think that education is too important to leave in the hands of passionless teachers who are just doing a job. Now, some teachers are fantastic. I know many fantastic teachers, but some of them are just doing it for the money. And I think education is too important to leave in the hands of people who are not passionate enough about it. Parents, we're looking also for parents who are action takers, who want to give their children an unfair advantage over their peers when it comes to reading, writing and spelling. So you don't want your child to be in the middle of the class. You like to do anything you can to get your child to the top. So here's something to think about. 80% of grade school children who are reading disabled, including dyslexics, have vision problems which could have been dealt with in prep or preschool. 95% of first grade non-readers have significant visual problems. They are nearly 2.5 times more visual problems than high achievers. And school vision screenings detect only 20 to 30% of significant vision problems, and I think that's generous. So here's a real life testimony from one of our mums. She went through our therapy program and really improved her son's reading, writing and vocabulary, and he actually had fun along the way, which is great. So in this webinar, I want to show you what visual skills are and what effect they can have on your child's learning. I want to show you what to look for to discover if your child has potential vision development problems that can cripple their learning. And I also want to show you how a small investment of 20 minutes a day can make a massive difference throughout your child's school career, especially if you start right now with the very young kids. So, what are visual skills and how can we develop them in order to avoid dyslexia and learning problems and other things along the way? Well, skills involving both vision and the understanding of visual information are what we call visual skills. And we can learn to master them as we practice and develop them. Basically, it's going to come down to practicing. We all use visual skills and we've all developed them naturally as we've been learning to read, write and spell. However, most teachers skip the teaching of these skills mainly because they don't know about them and they go straight into teaching kids how to read. Now, some kids will handle this and they'll develop the skills naturally as many of us do as adults, but some kids do not handle this and they fall behind dramatically. Visual skills are in fact the tools with which a child learns. So, could you build a table without the right tools? If I came to you and said, here's a table, here's the wood, build a table. Well, you'd say to me, well, where's the hammer? Where's the saw? Where's the drill? You know, you need the right tools to do a good job. And in the same way, you need the right tools to learn to read, write and spell effectively. We train skills in other areas, like playing football, learning the guitar or piano or reading. Learning the guitar or the piano, I would say dancing, that sort of stuff. So if you wanted your child to be a great dancer, you'd send them to dance class. If you wanted them to be a great footballer, you'd send them to football practice. But the problem with reading is we just throw them on stage, on the field and say, read. We don't train the skills like we do for other areas of our life. It is more powerful to train these skills before they start learning to read, because this will give them the skills they need and will supercharge their reading, writing and spelling long into the future. It is laying the essential foundation for their learning, and we have the opportunity to do that in the very early years of school. A little bit of work in preschool will save you from a ton of effort, expense and heartache in later years. And one thing's for sure, doing something now to develop your child will never ever be a waste. You're not going to waste anything here. You're going to set them up for a lifetime of skill and success. So the 3 steps to preparing your child for lifelong learning are these. Number 1, get an eye test. That's important. Number 2 is recognize the development of visual skills. And number 3 is find a step-by-step developmental program and start doing it. Excuse me, let's run through these. Step 1 is to get an eye test. Make sure that there is not a huge undetected visual problem that requires glasses. If you have a child who is massively long-sighted, you're not going to get anywhere until you deal with that problem. I would suggest a professional, competent children's eye test. Now, some places in the world this isn't available, but not a 5-minute adult eye test at the local shopping centre. And now, a normal eye test will look at sight and eye health and tell you whether your child is long-sighted, short-sighted, or has astigmatism. But I would encourage you, don't stop there. It is not the full story. A child's eye test needs also to examine the following areas: focus and eye teaming at both distance and near. And look at other tests like perceptual test, eye movements, visualization, eye-hand directionality, eye dominance, all the things that are developmental issues, most of which we can most of which we can positively affect using therapies and exercises rather than glasses. As a behavioural optometrist, I regularly test preschoolers, but I rarely give glasses, but we do lots of therapy and we get fabulous results. So step 2 is to recognise development in a preschool child. We can do this by taking a history. So did your child crawl? If your child did not crawl or did not crawl for very long, chances are they're going to have difficulty cross-patterning between the two hemispheres of the brain. Are there any speech, movement or developmental delays? Are there any family history of learning disorders? You can look for signs. Do they rub their eyes a lot? Are their eyes red? Do you see them closing an eye? Do they tilt their head or hold things close or too far away when they try and do close work? Look at their behaviour. Do they avoid near work? That's a key one. Do they get frustrated or overreact? Especially colouring in, looking at books and that sort of stuff. If they never want to colour in, chances are they have something that we can help. If they react very badly, like they colour in and go outside the lines and have a massive meltdown, we want to know about that too. Coordination. Are they clumsy or awkward? Can they catch, hit or bounce a ball? These are all key developmental signs. Now, to learn effectively, a child needs the right visual skills developed in the right order and in the right timing. These are the foundation upon which the building of lifelong learning must stand. If we get it wrong, the stability of the building will be in jeopardy their entire life. So many kids who start off badly never fully recover and struggle in school the rest of their life and struggle learning for their entire life. The step 3, of course, is to do something about it. It is not good enough to test and have a look at these things if we fail to treat it. Testing and diagnosing is completely pointless unless you do something about it. And I encourage parents with this, I would always do something. It's much better than doing nothing. If you do nothing, nothing will change. If your child is struggling now, believe me, as the stakes get higher through school, it's not going to get any better spontaneously. I would always accept the do something diagnosis over the nothing can be done diagnosis. Sometimes you take your child somewhere and they say, oh, well, they've got this problem, but we can't do anything about that. Well, I don't accept that. If you can test it, you ought to be able to train it or do something to help. Taking the wrong advice will see you wasting time and money on therapies that look magic but simply don't work. So not all advice or therapies work, and that's where I come in, I guess. I'd ask you the question, what is the ideal therapy? Well, you know, no therapy is easy. You've got to devote time, money, effort to it. What's the ideal therapy look like? Well, it's got to be easy to join, easy to do, and have simple instructions. If you've got to be a brain surgeon to try and figure it out, probably not something that most mums are going to want to do at home with their kids. It should be done in your own home. No travel, no huge disruption, no taking kids out, no going to McDonald's on the way home. Done in your own home. It should be around 20 to 25 minutes a day, weekdays only, so you can have the weekends off. Perfect therapy also lasts around 6 months for guaranteed results. Also, it's got to be fun. The kids must enjoy doing the activities. It's absolutely essential. And vision therapy is like any other therapy. A little every day is far more powerful than an hour or two a week. But you need to see it through, and not all therapies are the same. So, training visual skills is super powerful. Why? Because if you train the core visual skills, you literally cannot fail to see improvement in your child, because we're training what we all use when we read and learn. So if you start training these things, the chances of you seeing improvement, especially in a preschool child, is 100%. I've done this therapy with dyslexics, Aspergers, ADHD, autistic kids, adult illiterate, and refugee kids who've never sat at a desk, and we've supercharged their learning using them. In fact, I trialled all these techniques and developed our special program with bright kids who've never had the chance to learn because they've been refugees. And at a school in Malaysia where I trialled all these out, we sat the kids in front of their books and said, start learning. They didn't learn at all. So we tracked back and gave them the skills they needed, and it's incredibly powerful. In fact, everybody needs these skills to learn, and we should develop them naturally, but you can hedge the system. You can artificially push these things through. My vision therapy works on this principle. If you give your child a fish, you feed them for a day. But if you teach them to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. In other words, give a child the skills they need to learn, and they will learn. And that's what a good vision therapy program actually does. It gives them the skills that they need to do the job themselves. It also works on this principle that if you do something often enough, you train the skill until it becomes automatic, like a pilot. A pilot undergoes a lot of training, and then the skills become automatic when he needs them. They check in and they just automatically take over because they become ingrained. And that's the key with therapy. You do it often enough that it becomes ingrained, and then it becomes second nature to use these skills every time you learn. So can vision therapy hurt your child? I want to deal with this one because some people say, oh no, you can't do it. It might adversely affect them. Let me tell you, no, it cannot hurt your child. Can it make a difference in their learning abilities though? Absolutely yes. So here's some more testimonies of people who've gone through our therapy, different places around the world, and they've seen improvements in their child's performance. Especially if you think your child is smart, but they don't seem to be getting it. That's a perfect, if they're smart but they're not getting it, that is almost always a lack of visual skills, and you can train those. So let's recap on how you can conquer visual dyslexia and learning problems before they even start. Get an eye test, recognize the development of your child, and find a step-by-step developmental program like mine. And please, 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 please start doing it. And here's what I believe is the best thing you can do for your child and their future learning. The program I've developed is called Building Blocks. It's a home vision therapy program. It's exclusive to us, and it trains the actual visual skills your child needs to learn. It works through a developmental progression. So we start with the very basic ones, and we progress to more advanced skills. And it involves, this is key, games and therapies which are fun. So they're highly targeted. They take only 20 to 25 minutes a day, weekdays only, and it will accelerate your child's learning abilities, guaranteed. What do we target in Building Blocks? Let me run through the modules that we target. We target focus. We target eye teaming ability, eye movements, the way they move their eyes across a page, visualization for spelling, laterality or left-right awareness for writing things forward as opposed to writing backwards. We look at gross motor, fine motor and eye-hand coordination. We look at coding, sequencing, and we look at much, much more. So let's run through these. Focusing. If you can work on focusing, you can increase concentration for reading, and it also helps them copying things off the board. It can cause relief of tired, sore eyes and headaches if they get that when they're doing close work, and it also improves comprehension and retention. Eye teaming increases concentration, improves flow of reading, and it decreases double vision and general eye stress. Eye movements. Now, eye movements, if we train these, we can improve the flow of reading and decrease misreads and skipping of lines. Also helps them copying off the board, and eye movement training can also help them with ball sports like tennis, cricket, football, soccer, baseball, whatever. Visualization. Visualization is the key skill that we use in spelling. It improves memory, gives them greater creativity, and we can literally train this skill and make them better spellers, give them the tools they need to become great spellers. Laterality helps them stop writing things backwards, numbers, letters, etc. Fine motor and eye hand can improve writing, drawing, colouring, and also ball sports. And of course, gross motor training improves balance, coordination, left-right brain integration, and it can help with clumsiness and the way they process information. Coding is important for understanding the letters. I often say to people, I'm fairly intelligent. I go up to Singapore and I look at all the signs in Chinese and I can't read them. Why? Because I don't know the code. Doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. It means I don't know the code. So coding is how we learn letters and spelling, problem solving. Sequencing also involves getting things in the right order and developing rhythm, and of course there's many other areas that we target. The key visual skills that your child needs to learn effectively. So, building blocks takes only 20 to 25 minutes a day, one-on-one with your child. It's done in your own home. There's no travelling, fighting traffic, no finding parking, dragging the kids along, trips to McDonald's on the way, all the other disasters. And the entire course only takes 5 months. That's right. In 5 months, we can completely transform your child's learning ability. It will also improve your child's focus and eye coordination so they can concentrate on their schoolwork when they get to school. Wouldn't that be great? It also supercharges excuse me, their spelling and the way they learn letters and words. It can make them retain these words forever instead of forgetting them a page later. If you have a child who learns to spell a word, you flip over the page, they don't recognise it. Building blocks will improve their writing and pencil control so that colouring is easy, and as they enter school, ideas will start to flow quickly and easily when they're writing. Building blocks will also improve your child's eye movements so that it will help them avoid skipping, mixing up or misreading words or lines and having to run their finger under print to try and keep their place. Building blocks will also increase your child's confidence when approaching gross motor, reading, writing, spelling, all of that stuff, and it adds to their love of reading and will help their school performance and grades in years to come. It will also help their eye movement and eye-hand control for sporting ability, catching, hitting, that sort of stuff. In fact, building blocks accelerates the development of skills, so your child gets these skills before the other kids. So we can artificially accelerate your child beyond their peers and give them the jump start that they deserve. So here's what you get in our Building Blocks program. Very clear instructions. We lay out exactly what each exercise is trying to achieve and exactly how you do the exercise or game. You get all the charts and handouts, everything you need so you can run off copies. You get record sheets so you can plot your progress in each activity, and you get email support. You can always email us, we email back, and we're here if we need you to direct you. So, what does it look like? I'm sure you're asking yourself that question. Here's a few examples of some of the activities that we have in Building Blocks. This is one of our exercises called String Walk Marionette, where they tie string around their hands and their feet and they walk around, and they will love this. This is a lot of fun. Different little ideas at the bottom there, the penguin, the model, the crab shuffle. Lots of cool stuff. This one's called flashlight tracing. So you do it with 2 torches or flashlights, and they've got to, as you move your torch, they've got to follow your torch around. Another one called visual memory activities, where we have a tray of household items, and you flash them at them and they've got to remember them. This is going to improve their visualizing ability. This one's called Capture the Mosquitoes, where they've got to circle each mosquito 3 times. It's a kind of a race. You time them. It's a really cool, really fun one. Lots of different activities that we have there, and there's some of some of them are more advanced and some are easier. But what if you're not struggling with your child? What if they seem to be learning okay? Well, the question I get back to here is, would you like to give them an unfair advantage over their peers? So I can offer you 2 ways to go for your child's academic future. So stop right now and ask yourself which way you want to choose for them. You face a decision regarding your preschool child. Do you want the easy way, or do you want the hard way? Let's have a look at these. The hard way, of course, is to wait and do nothing. That's all you need to do. Now, they might be okay. But if you do nothing and then one day the teacher tells you that your child is behind, it's going to be hard. You might want to do nothing until homework becomes a nightmare in your house. You might want to do nothing until you've spent a fortune on therapy or tutoring for your struggling child. Or do nothing until your child comes to you and says, look, I'm so dumb, I can't get what the other kids are getting. That's the hard way, waiting until it happens. An ounce of prevention is definitely worth a pound of cure. Or there's the easy way. You can start building blocks today, have great fun with your child, build your relationship, enjoy your time together, and knock out any developmental delays quickly and easily before they even happen, and give them the skills they need. You can have your child start life by loving learning, reading and studying for the rest of their life. And you can let them choose any career you want. The world will be their oyster, and you can prepare your child for school even before they get to school. So here's the thing. You've learned lots of information in this webinar, But if you don't do anything and you haven't committed to anything, your child's future is in your hands. You can give them an unfair advantage, but not unless you commit to doing something. You can let them try to make it on their own, or you can give them an unfair advantage. Which way do you want to go? Which way do you want to commit to? Look, maybe you have other questions. Can this program damage my child in any way? No. It can only help. It cannot possibly harm them. It sounds complicated and scary. I've never done therapy before. Will I be overwhelmed? Don't worry. It's simple. It's easy to follow. Games that your child will love. We target all the areas they need to develop in the right order. And that's important. The right order is important. And you won't even have to leave home. You might say, I'm not sure if I can find the time. Is it worth trying now? Yes. 1 minute and $1 invested now could save you hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars in the future if your child has a learning problem. So how much is this worth? Look, if you have a child with dyslexia or learning disabilities, this information is absolutely priceless. You would pay anything to avoid the struggles later down the track. So unless you want to run the risk of watching your child struggle, and you want to fight with them every night when they do homework for the next 12 years, please pay attention. How much is this worth? Well, normally we would charge around $297 per module. So focus, eye teaming, eye movements, visualization, laterality, gross motor, fine motor, coding, sequencing, and then everything else will come to a total of $2,673. But then we also include full support, simple instructions, all the charts, video demonstrations, email support, record sheets, everything you need to transform your home into a vision therapy centre with you as the trained therapist. The value of that is $500. So here's what you get. 9 modules worth $2,673 plus full video and email support worth $500. Total value $3,173. But of course you won't pay that today. Before I reveal my special price, let me add some bonuses because we've got some great parenting books we want to send your way that can have a huge impact on your life, your family, and your children. So here's the first bonus. How to raise great kids. 75 questions and answers about how to raise great kids, and who wouldn't want to know the answer to some of these problems? These are things that you will grapple with as you raise your child. Fantastic little book. Lots and lots of questions answered about raising great kids and training them. Valued at $47, yours for free if you join Building Blocks. Bonus 2 is raising children who succeed. So you can learn the answers to questions like how to define success and all about books and role models, and fantastic teaching in here as well. It's valued at $37 and it's yours for free. The third one is the Smart Parenting Guide. So learning the smart way to raise kids, talking about encouragement, not being demanding. It's a fantastic little book. Really, really good stuff. Normally valued at $37, yours for free when you join Building Blocks. Also, teaching good decision making. How to keep kids, fun and busy and all that sort of stuff. Valued at $37. It is yours for free, helping your kids to make all the right decisions. So here's what you get. The 9 therapy modules, plus the full email support, plus these 4 bonuses. The value is $3,321, but you won't pay that much today, I absolutely promise. So before I tell you what you will pay, let me ask you an important question. Can you do all this another way? I mean, okay, there's nothing else around quite like Building Blocks, and I know because I looked and then I designed this myself. But what else can you do before your child goes to school? Here's 2 accepted ways of helping preschool kids. So preschool development kids. You could send them to preschool or to childcare. Now in Australia, where I live, that would cost you around $45 to up to $175 a day, and it's usually done by staff who have little or no understanding of development. They love your kids, they work with them, but they're not trained in this area. So on average, let's say $100 a day, so twice a week for 5 months is going to come to around about $4,000. What about occupational therapy? OTs are fantastic. I got this from a website that deals with OTs. They work with preschool kids. They usually charge $220 just for the screening, which is followed by a full assessment, which is $175, and a full report with strategies listed, which is $250. then it's $165 an hour for the therapies. Once a week for 5 months is $3,300 plus $645 for assessments, plus you have to travel to their office. So let's allow $30 a time for petrol, snack at McDonald's, parking fees, and probably the blood pressure tablets. So the total is $4,545. So that's 5 months of preschool at $4,000 or 5 months of OT work at $4,545. Now I'm guessing a lot of you don't want to pay that sort of money or take your child twice a week to the therapy rooms. That is if you can even find a skilled trained therapist in your area. That's a lot of money. But is it worth it? I would say if it works, yes. Anything that helps your child is worth it, right? But is there a better, cheaper, or easier way? Let me show you how doing it yourself in your own home, in your own time, can save you thousands of dollars. Building blocks is the answer. It is easy to do. It takes 20 minutes a day. It's done by you in your own home, no travel. It's low cost, it's highly effective, and it allows you to make sure your child is fully prepared to learn when they get to school. It could save you thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours, and mountains of heartache in the future. And remember, doing something is better than doing nothing. It's not a magic quick fix though, folks. It takes time and effort. If you want to wave a magic wand and your child is suddenly a genius, not the thing for you. But there is nothing else around that can train the actual skills that your child is going to use. Remember, I promise you, you won't pay $4,545 or even $4,000 today, and I won't even ask what the program is actually worth, which is $3,321 today. I have a very special offer just for you. Why? Because I know what it's like to have a child with learning disabilities. And I don't want you to have to go through this, because I see kids every day struggling with school and learning, and because I'm passionate. My whole practice is built around seeing kids, and I want to see them succeed in learning, school, and in life. And because every day I meet parents who will give anything to replay their child's life and to change things before formal schooling had begun. They're sitting where you are sitting right now, and they'll give anything to swap places with you. So, $3,121 worth of value. You're not going to pay that today. Of course, what you're going to be asked to pay is only $49.77 a month for 5 months. So let's make this really cool. I'm going to give you some special mega extra bonuses just to make it even more enticing. These are valued all up at $168. So we've got bonus 6, which is Aspergers Answered Revealed. If you've got an Asperger's child, this is incredible information valued at $47. The Child Diet Dilemma, ouch. Learn how to prevent childhood obesity and feed them the right things, valued at $37. Yours free again. And the Single Parenting Guide. If you're a single parent or you know a single parent, get this, pass it on to them. It will help them deal with all sorts of single parenting, dilemmas. It's valued at $47. It is yours for free. So here's what you get. The 9 therapy modules, full support and email access, plus all of those incredible bonuses. Total value $3,452. But of course, you're not going to pay that. You only have to pay $49.77 for 5 months, and you get all of the bonuses for free. So why wouldn't you give your child an unfair advantage against the others? Why wouldn't you knock all of these problems out of the park before you even begin? Remember, every dollar, every hour you spend will be worth 10 times that amount in 3 years if your child is struggling. So why not give your child the skills they need to succeed in learning for a lifetime? At only $49.77 a month, you can change your child's life forever. You really can. I can tell you that my older vision therapy program for school kids is priced at $127 a month. So that should show you how the incredible value that this particular preschool therapy represents. If you want to give your child an unfair advantage and the chance to become all that they can be in learning and in life, it is incredible. Click on the button below and let's get started. Because at only $49.77 a month, you can change your child's life forever, because your child is worth it. So come on, click below, get involved. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. And I will look forward to hearing about the brilliant results that you get with building blocks. It's happened to many of our patients, And I'm sure it can happen for you as well with your child. So don't hesitate, get involved. As I say, you can't cause any harm, you can only cause good. And the good you could cause could be incredible good. Set your child up for a life of learning. Give them an unfair advantage against their peers. We will catch you next time. Take care, and thank you for listening to this webinar. Good night.